Good morning. At this time, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Before we do, let me read through our role as a board and kind of the order in which the meeting will go today. We are the 2026 Board of Equalization and Review for Union County, and we have been appointed by the county commissioners to hear all taxpayers with respect to concerns/complaints regarding the value of their property for tax purposes. Property owners appearing before the Board of Equalization and Review have a right to a fair and equitable hearing. The Board of Equalization and Review has been charged with ensuring that the proper legal principles have been applied in a valuation dispute for tax purposes. So the way in the order of the meeting today, you'll come up front, and the clerk to my right will call your name and the hearing number. So you'll come forward. Before you start, one of the county staff will locate the property on the monitor so we're all looking at the same information. And with your monitor, you should be looking at the same information that we're looking at today. At that time, make sure you're speaking into the mic, and you just simply present your information to the board. We ask that you try to hold that time to 10 minutes. When it gets to be about 8 minutes, the Madam Clerk will give you a warning at about 8 minutes, okay? After you finish presenting your information to the board, we'll have a chance to ask questions of you. You'll then have a seat. The county will come forward. They will present their information to the board. We'll have a chance to ask questions of the county. They'll have a seat. We'll give you a chance for a rebuttal. We'll give the chance to the county for a rebuttal. We do ask if you have sales data information. That data has to be as of 1/1/25, since that is the effective date of the reevaluation. So we can't be looking at sales data from a month ago or 2 months ago, even though it's the most recent. It needs to be as of 1/1/25 or a little before. Let's see, if after we hear all the cases on the agenda, we'll go into the deliberation phase of the hearing. You're welcome to stay for that phase. No telling how long it goes. Could be long, could be short. We do not take any questions during that time unless we have both parties here. After the deliberation phase and the decision is rendered, typically you'll be notified by the county in writing within 30 days. By statute, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer to demonstrate that the assessment is erroneous, and that's where we get into opinions and that kind of thing, and opinions are fine, but we need to be ruling on evidence and data. Only individual taxpayers or licensed residential or certified real estate appraisers licensed to do business in the state of North Carolina may express an opinion of value of real property. No other persons, whether attorneys in fact, attorneys at law, or corporate representatives, are entitled to express an opinion of value of real property. So I know that's a lot of information, and we'll try to keep it as simple as we can, keep some order to it. So are there any questions? Okay. With that, if you could silence your phones or put them on vibrate, and we will get started.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
We are going to start with hearing number 1. This is for property key number 05033188. The owner is Monroe Township Farms, LLC, and there is a representative here for that. Also Emmett Jerry L. and Nicole L. Living Trust.
So, good morning.
Good morning.
This is just a denial of an application. If you want me to put it up on a map, I can. If not, not a big deal. 1 through 4 are all kind of the same situation. So, with that,
Okay.
I guess if you don't want to see it on a map, then we're good to go.
What's the pleasure of the board?
No, I think
Okay.
the issue
Okay.
is not the land.
Okay. And
I don't know if you have your stuff. I think
This pulled up. Maybe this is.
And sir, if you don't mind, just state your name for the record before you talk, please.
My name is Frank Howie Jr. from Monroe, North Carolina.
So I guess that's the letter that you sent, and I think that's all the information we have.
Okay.
How you doing, Frank?
Good, good. Good morning. Good morning.
Probably
This
just need
is,
to make sure we got that mic. You might have to pull that up. You usually have to tell those people to
Okay.
tilt it down, but you're gonna
All
need
right.
to tilt it up.
we're here about a use value denial. I own 50% of the property as Monroe Township Farms, and then I have partners that own 50% together, Jim and Jerry Emmerich. And the denial was based on their property ownership, but I have proof that we've owned this property for 4 years, and they have a parcel that they own in South Carolina that has the same ownership that's in farm use in South Carolina. I've got their Schedule F to show their farm income. Could I pass that around? And they reside in Wisconsin, and they farm just like I do, and that's their living. They've owned this property in several different ownerships, but it was always went back to Jim and Jerry Emmerich and wife Nicole Emmerich. And so I feel like the property should qualify for use value because they've met the 4-year ownership of the property. The property is currently in winter wheat, looks beautiful. All these parcels join. They're actually in the town of Waxhaw, and the property taxes between the town of Waxhaw and the county are very expensive for farming. And I know the people in the community like to see the farming instead of more houses. But if we can't get use value on this property's going to have to be sold for more housing. And so really, they're all the same. And they're bona fide farmers, just like I am. And you can see how much money they lost farming.
Okay, and I've got that. So it's the same
Same
dilemma for
on
these
all the
first
tracks.
4.
Yes,
The clerk may have to call them individually.
Sure,
So
yes.
let me see if there's any questions. Mr. Smith, you have any questions for Mr. Howell?
Well, I guess the question, the way I've read this information is, it's in the matter of state law and how the land got transferred into this, which apparently from the information I've read, I'll hear from the county later, says that type of transfer is not proper. That's,
when it goes back to an individual level, it should be.
Yes.
And I know someone who appealed to the state with the trust, and they won at the state level. So
Yeah.
I'm asking for relief here at the county level to keep
Thank
from
you.
having to appeal to the state level.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, it goes back to individuals that are farming. And that's what you're trying to do, is help farmers.
I understand, thank you.
Mr. Ashcraft?
No, I don't have any
Yeah.
questions.
Mr. Howie, was this the first year it was eligible?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I've been eligible for my half the whole time,
right.
but the 4-year ownership was triggered this year.
Right, okay, okay. I don't have any other questions. If the board doesn't, let us, if you could have a seat.
Okay.
We'll hear from the county.
Okay,
And then if, like I said, on these other 3, we'll have the clerk call them.
okay.
And if you'd like to speak on behalf of them, you're welcome to. Okay?
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you, Frank.
Appreciate it.
All right, so 1 through 3 are kind of this, all the same scenario. 4 is a little bit different, and I can go through that if you want me to go separate, or if you can go
Yeah,
at the end.
let's stick to the first one.
Okay.
And then, kind of address it, right behind Mr. Howie. And then if there's no additional comments on 2 and 3, fine. We'll still have the clerk call them individually.
Okay, so this is going to be for number 1. This is the packet we've got here. This is the application we're going through here. So here's the statute. This is where we're going to start at. This is on page 9 if you want to look in yours.
Yeah, we need you. Okay.
So this is the present use value statute. It says what ownerships qualify and things like that. So I'll go down to page 10, which is inside of there, where it says, it's highlighted. It says a trust that meets all of the following conditions can qualify, and it says it was created by an individual who owned the land and transferred the land to the trust. So that's the kind of the hiccup here. Then I'm going to scroll down here to page 12. This is an email from me to the North Carolina Department of Revenue. We had a phone call and spoke about it on the phone. This was the follow-up email that I sent. States the scenario here where an LLC.
You had the phone call with.
The phone call with the NCDOR, and then I did a follow-up email
Okay.
to kind of encapsulate the phone call. So here's the situation where LLC sold it to an LLC, another LLC, and then a trust in 21. So they applied this year after the 4-year ownership. And then the conclusion was, based on the statute, that trust ownership does not qualify. We applied the ownership test using that statute I just highlighted a minute ago. Since the individual who created the trust did not individually own the property before the property was transferred into the trust, and the ownership does, so that the trust ownership doesn't qualify. So that's the email, and then this is his response back where it says this recap seems accurate. So we did reach out to our kind of our representative that would kind of guide us in this situation. So then the last thing, this is going to be the deed that transferred the property into the current ownership. This happened in December of 21. So their 4 years would have been up, and they could have applied this year to get it as long as the ownership matched or was eligible. So this is going to be for this parcel and the next 2, but it went from Old Waxhaw Monroe Road LLC straight into the Monroe Township Farms LLC along with the trust. So it never did go into the individual names, and so that's the reason for the denial.
Okay. Questions for the county, Mr. Ashcraft?
So if the individual, I think it's Jerry L. Emmett,
Mm-hmm.
if he just left his name on and didn't say trust, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Right.
It's just the fact that it went into a trust
That's right.
by the statute. I don't have any questions.
And then I know it doesn't help the taxpayer for this year, but the only way to get around it, they got to convey the Emmert 50% undivided interest back to them individually, apply for use value, and then they can convey it back to the trust.
Pretty much. So I think that's in part of this email here. I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
We also
I
spoke.
want to make sure I understand
Sure.
what they would have to do. It just seems.
Yeah. So I said, this is in the email that I sent to the DOR. We also spoke about a hypothetical scenario where the trust transfers the ownership to them individually and then back to the trust. It seems that this could possibly allow for the ownership to qualify after that is done. So it seems like that would work. If they just switched to the individual, you could leave it in the Monroe Farms LLC and then
It's just that-
transfer it into the individual that own the trust and then back to the trust. Seems like a loophole that you would be able to use to get that in.
And they have to apply every year or not?
They do not.
Oh, okay. So I kept thinking they do, so once they're in,
They remain
They
in
stay
it
in.
until something transfers with the property. If
Okay.
they sell acreage or they transfer the whole property itself, and then the new owner will need to apply. And then we have compliance reviews that would have to, so every 4 to 8 years, we would send out a review
Okay.
and make sure they're still meeting all the qualifications at that point.
That answers my question. Mr. Smith?
To be clear, in my mind, being they've waited the 4 years and would be eligible under the wait in present use. If they do these transfers, does that start that clock again, or are they really met that?
It would not,
It's just a
because
matter of they need to do some legal transferring back and forth, and then it would be acceptable.
yes, sir, I think that's right. I think you would just the transfers need to happen. I don't think you'd have to wait the 4 years again.
Right. The set time would be.
Yeah, because you've already met it, because the ownership is still the same, essentially goes down to the individuals.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what we're looking at, but since it's in the trust name, we have to look at the trust as well.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
This is
Okay.
legal.
Frank has one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Frank a rebuttal anyway, and the county will have one as well, so thank you, Mr. Muscusi. Mr. Howie, you have a question? And
Yes, we actually filed for use value the year before and got a letter from the county that it didn't qualify because they hadn't owned it for 4 years. They never mentioned anything about the trust being a problem. If they had mentioned that at that time, that could have been handled. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's farmland that's being actively farmed. And, you know, this is just like a nuisance in trying to get what we're rightfully due to have access to.
And these schedules here, the Schedule F, is that for same tax ID number, correct? Is it this parcel or all the parcels?
All of them, all of them.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Questions back to Mr. Howell?
Well, I guess on this is from the Emirates, but there's different entities here.
Yeah. All their entities flow into that one tax return.
Okay,
Yep.
that's my
Yep,
question.
yep.
Understood.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Howell.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Muscusa, any rebuttal comments? Okay. For the purpose of the agenda and the meeting and record, I'll turn it back over to you.
Parcel, hearing number 2, parcel ID number 05036012.
I think we're going to let the record show that we have the same issue on this hearing as we did the prior hearing, correct? And I'm getting a note, yep, okay.
Hearing number 3, parcel ID number 05036014.
And no additional comments from this taxpayer, is it same thing, correct? Okay.
Hearing number 4, parcel ID number 05060003.
This one is a little bit different. Let's see. So you want me to go, or would y'all like for him to go first again, or we?
No, I think let's let Mr. Howie go, and then, yeah, that might be
Okay.
keep the order the same.
Could he go first, because I'm not sure what the issue is.
Okay, in that case,
All right, so the difference with this one is it's got an additional ownership with it. It's got, and I will get to the last deed. All the other same information is pretty much the same. It's got the trust ownership. Here's where the first deed happened, where it transferred from Highway 75 LLC to the Monroe Township Farms LLC, and this is on page 14 in y'all's. And then here's the next transfer that happened, where it went from Monroe Township's farm, sold their piece to Northern Ag Insurance, and then Jerry Emmer individually, James Emmer individually. The trust is still part of the ownership here on these two bottom ones. Then it changes from Northern Ag Insurance to Northern Ag Holdings. where they sell their portion. And then it goes from Northern Ag Holdings, Jerry Emmert, James Emmert, and then still the trust to Monroe Township's Farms LLC. And then it goes, again, this from trustees, the trust to Monroe Township's Farms. And then here's the last, so this is the current ownership here, where Monroe Township's Farms sells, transfers it to Northern Ag Holdings, Jerry Emmert, James Emmert individually, both of those, and then here, trust again, trust. So this one here, on top of it, going straight from an LLC to trust, additionally, it's this Northern Ag Holdings here. We asked for information on that LLC. We received no information on it. So we're not sure if that would qualify as well with these. So that's kind of the only difference on this one.
So to clarify, it's unclear to the county who holds ownership of Northern Ag Holdings.
And what their, because you have to meet qualifications for ownership for LLCs, for entities. And so in this scenario, we would look at we would need a letter from a CPA that states what income runs through there, because they do have to have at least 51% of the income has to be farming for it to qualify for ownership under that name. So we would have to verify that ownership qualifies along with all of these other ones.
Right. Okay, so I imagine there was an email or a phone call.
I do think we reached out and we did not get anything back.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that clarification, and it does help to know that ahead of time.
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Howard, well, any questions for the county, by the board? Okay.
The transfers back and forth he was talking about, my wife and I borrowed some money from them, so that's why it transferred from Monroe Township back to them, and then when we paid them off to buy our half back is the transfers, and one of those transfers was done wrong, but every entity at the end of the day was still Jerry and Jim Emmert and wife Nicole. And I also have a tax bill here showing ownership of the trust and for a property that's already in use value. And as far as the income goes, the insurance company isn't, even though it sounds, it's still farming. All their entities were agricultural, 51% or more income. And it all flows through the tax return that I've already shared with you, the Schedule F.
So Northern Ag Holdings is owned by,
Jim and Jerry Emmert.
and it's a total, it's a farming
Yes,
operation?
yes.
Okay.
It's-
Nothing else runs through it?
No,
That you-
just agriculture.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Nope.
Ashcraft? I'm good.
And you will see this, where they pay property tax in the trust.
It might, yeah. If we don't have it, just to eyeball it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's just where they're paying property taxes in another state and county.
In trust,
the-
in a trust, yeah.
Yeah. Want to look at this, Mr. Ashcraft? Just from another state. Okay. I don't know, I didn't peel through, Madam Clerk, or to see, if this might have already been in there, but I don't think, we'll let the taxpayer have that back. I don't believe the board has any additional questions, Mr. Howie.
Okay.
I'll see, does the county have any rebuttal comments? And then I'll give you a chance for rebuttal too, Mr.
Okay.
Howie. Okay.
it seems like it's being mentioned that there's, this entity is in present use value, what we call present use value in another state. We
Right.
have to look at North Carolina statutes. So for us, it doesn't seem to meet the qualifications. That's all.
Right, okay. Mr. Howie, any?
You know, it's, we're talking about minute details, and it's like tomato or pecan or pecan,
Yeah.
but the intent is good here, and we feel like we deserve use value on these 4 tracks. I appreciate y'all's help.
Understood?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that'll take us to hearing number 5. This is for property key number 09336018C. The taxpayer is Meyer Brothers LLC, and the taxpayer Gil Myers is present today.
I had to hit the button.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Did he? Hey, what number did you say?
Number, we're on number 5, correct?
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is on page 7. You'll see the map location of the property. It is roughly midway between Indian Trail and Monroe. It's west of Monroe, north of 74, off of North Rocky River Road, near the interchange there at Rocky River and 74.
Got it, I'm trying to zoom down.
I do have it on the map here, if this helps, the big map between Monroe and Indian Trail. Here's 74, North Rocky River Road. There's Seacrest shortcut.
I'm good.
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna take you to, this begins the appeal from the appellant, their documentation.
Thank you, Ms. Chastain.
My name's Gil Myers.
Good morning.
Good morning, y'all.
Okay,
The tax value on this land was changed in 2025 reevaluation. It's 3.69 acres being farmed.
wait a minute.
Has road frontage on Rocky River Road only.
We on the right one?
I don't know.
This looked like a house.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
house beside it, I dropped the appeal on
I got a
it.
house in a development. Okay. I got a house in Chrismark.
This land is right beside Spence Electric Company, between Spence Electric and my property, my home. And my home was put in commercial property at the same time this was done.
We got a different one.
Oh, okay.
Is it hearing number?
Which, well, I was on 5.
It's hearing number 5.
Yeah. I thought I was on that one, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
0933601-8C.
She's got it squared away now. We were looking at the wrong information. I knew when you said 3 acres and a farm, I wasn't looking at the right property, okay?
It borders all of the rest of our property.
So it's 18 acres?
That's across the road directly. That's the value that I'm using to the appeal against. Current value reevaluated, that land was sold to New Monroe Investment Group. 18 acres was sold for $2.1 million, or $117,000 an acre. 3.69 that I'm referring to was billed, tax value low, I think low, 94,600 acres for 3.69 acres of land. It was revalued to $928,500, or $251,000 per acre. Only has road frontage on Rocky River Road. I don't know of any land on Rocky River Road unless it borders Highway 74 that's worth $251,000. I wish it was.
exactly where you're talking about. In
The 18 acres that was sold across the road had road frontage on Rocky River Road and James Hamilton Road. And it only sold for $117,000. It's still valued at 2.143. That's the land I'm comparing it to.
And I think you've got it in here, I might just not be looking at it. The date of that sale
123 or something.
was when?
It was sold in '24 and revalued. I've got the revalue on
Okay.
it, so that's
Okay.
exactly what it sold for, $117,000 an acre is the
Yeah,
reval.
that's all I just all I needed to know was the year, month and year.
It says
I
10/21.
think it was sold in 23, 24, but the reval on it's still 2.143 or $117,000 an acre. And ours is 251,000 an acre. And it's currently planted in corn.
Okay. Any additional information at this time? Let me see
No,
if
I'm just appealing the value compared to the land around it.
Right. Let me see if members of the board have any questions first. Mr. Smith,
Not at this time.
Mr. Ashcraft.
So you're basing your value just on that one sale, is that correct, that you know of?
I misunderstood.
You're basing the price based on this one sale that you showed?
Exactly. This is across,
21, 23. Okay,
Adjacent property.
18 acres.
yeah, it's larger property,
Yours is 3.6, correct?
3.69.
I understand.
Okay.
I do too.
Maybe
I think we're good here. Let us hear from the county. And after we hear from them, we'll give you a chance for any rebuttal comments you would like to make.
Okay.
Okay?
I can do that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Myers.
Okay, I'm going to try to go step by step through this so that you kind of get an understanding of where we are on this one. Let's go to, this property is in the farm program, as we said. If you turn to, if you look at page 15 through 17, that lets you know the taxes that they're currently paying right now and the assessed value. And it gives you a breakdown at the end of 16, the payment history there. You can see where they are. And then on the top of 17, that's the assessed land value there. So just to let you know that that's the farm program part of this. This parcel was rezoned by the city of Monroe. And if you turn to, let me see if I can get this to work so we don't have to scroll through each time. Page 30 starts the map, and then you can see on 33 the explanation of what it was zoned to by the city of Monroe. And this is mixed use value now. So that was the reason for the increase. The city of Monroe did that on page 34. You'll actually see the map highlighting this is actually from the city of Monroe, showing that mixed-use corridor. And those are the two sections there. You can see that our section at the very top left, you'll see the parcel there. And then there's also an area near the mall that is also zoned that mixed-use designation for the zoning for the city of Monroe. The traffic data supports a lot of the information for, I'm sure, for the city of Monroe. There's been, Moser had bought a piece of property north of this and has built a large apartment complex. And so there, this is just the data for the traffic there showing that. And we expect that to increase due to Moser's project, obviously. He did mention the sales data that he's using. I think that was on his page would be 14 and 15, but it actually, the deed is on page 51 and 52. This property sold for 2.1, but it was only 15.32 acres at that time, when the sale happened. So when you go to our sales data, which you will see on page 55, I think it is. 55 will show the sales data at the top there. You'll see the values listed correctly. So on 51 and 52, you will see the deed showing that the correct acreage was 15.13 or 32 for 2.1. So it wasn't the 18 acres at that time of that sale. So on 55, you'll see where that falls on our comparable sales. We used all the sales data that we used, as you can see from the mixed-use map from the city of Monroe. We only used parcels within that same zoning, the sales, so that it's all equitable. So you'll see that on page 55. You'll see where this property falls, excuse me, in relation to the other sales, the comparable sales data. So they are in line. 29D and 29E were combined. That's why you'll see that little squiggly part of the parcel there on page 56. And then there's the actual map. 58 is just showing you that that's the other parcel for the sale 4, and that's part of the mall mixed use. So just to give you a location. In terms of equity, how are they valued through commercial? So we tried to make this a little more simple for you. On page 60, we color-coded this map, and we also did a spreadsheet on 61, so that you would be able to see how the commercial team, as you get closer to the corners of major, intersection 74, it's going to be valued higher, and it's going to be in the excellent ranges, and then it goes out from there. So you'll be able to see all of the neighboring parcels there and how they're all valued equitably. And the commercial team did a great job putting this together, helping me put this together. 61 is the spreadsheet, again, showing that same data. This property is currently being listed for sale. 62 is just showing that listing data. They're combining 3 of the parcels and listing it there for $4.85 million. And those 3 parcels taxed together, just so you can see the breakdown, obviously on 62, but the total is 3.287. 63 shows the CoStar listing of that sale. Just to give you data, we don't know what this is going to end up selling for, but it just kind of gives you, it's kind of a great presentation for this parcel that Keller Williams did on 66 through 75, locating those parcels and talking about the mixed use and what they actually could sell it for, and how to do that, like Moser did, pretty much. So I think that's just there for you to see that we do have that, or they do have that currently listed, and that's the value that we have. But this, the price increase did result from the change in zoning from the city of Monroe, and that is part of their strategic plan for enhancing, of course, the county. Based on the data that we pulled, we feel like it well supports the county's value. It's equitable, it's priced equitably with the neighbors, and the sales data supports, our value. We didn't receive anything from the taxpayer except the one sale, and the acreage was not quite the 18, and so the data was a little bit different there. But the county feels like they're well supported in their value. We don't recommend any change.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chastain. Let's see if there's questions from the board. And Ms. Fowler, could you help me again right here? I got off center on this one.
You have to go to 50%. It jumps off.
Okay, now can I blow it back
Yeah,
up?
you should be able to.
I don't like that either.
I didn't know Mr. Ashcraft was that text. He's on it now.
He is.
He's on it.
Well, I've touched it a number of times. I really am paying attention. Can I ask a question?
You can, you go right ahead.
Are you ready for it?
We're ready. We're ready.
All right.
Go ahead.
So his parcel that he used as an example for the value was 18, 15 acres. It's right across the street from this property,
That's correct.
okay? And both of them are now in the new land, what, the city took in? for-
Yes.
That's when it changed. So did it change in 23 when that parcel was bought? At least that's what it says, 1023 something.
Yes, I believe that those changes happened I believe the land change happened from the team in '25, when they finally changed some of those parcels
Okay, so
over.
the land sold before, yeah.
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure I got that, because that makes sense. And then they did change it over later,
Right,
okay?
that is correct.
So the comp sold prior to the zoning change?
Somebody knew something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct.
All right. Mr. Smith?
I guess my question to the county is, does this get to stay in the ag program until the property is sold?
It does, yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Thank you.
All righty. Think we're good.
Something about the property.
Yeah. Mr. Myers, any rebuttal comments?
Yeah, I'll just make one comment. The paperwork on the 18.67 acres came right off the county's website because 3 acres were combined. And it sold for 2.123 in 23-24. And the 25 tax listing on that land is still 2.143 value for 18 acres. The land they're speaking of, they're comparing it to Highway 74 frontage. We're a half mile off of Rocky River Road from 74. It's not worth $250,000 an acre. It's under contract right now for a lot less than that.
Okay.
And as I said, they drew a line around my house, put my house in commercial property. I've been living there for 49 years. It's not commercial property. Will be when I sell it someday, or my wife sells it, because I've already deeded it to her.
Okay.
I just want your consideration, that's all I'm
Okay.
asking.
All right, understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any final comments from the county? Okay. All righty, Madam Clerk.
All right, that'll take us to hearing number 6. This is for property key number 07057954, and the taxpayer is Jemisi trustee.
It's a little too big, isn't it?
I think it's good. It's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I'm going to be presenting for Ms. Wiggins. She wasn't able to be here today,
Okay.
so you got me. This property's located in Chrismark. If you know where that is, it's right off Idlewild and Stevens Mill and slightly north of Mill Grove Road. Is everybody familiar with where it is?
I am. Members of the board, good?
All right.
Okay.
Good.
All right, I'm going to move you to the appellant's documentation here. It starts on page 11.
Good morning.
Morning. Hi. Thank you. This is my first time being
Okay,
here.
maybe
so-
bend that mic down a little bit.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. You're fine. Go
Okay.
right ahead.
Good morning. My name is Yemisi Olojede. I own the property. I bought it in August 2007 and for $360,000 just before the market crash of 2008. Right. So when the revaluation was done, the property value increased from prior evaluation by 67%. I look at the sales figure that the county used to determine the new valuation, but there were limited sales in the community. In fact, probably nothing within Christmas community. The community itself was built in 2006. So there was really not sufficient data for the county to hike the property value by 67%. I thought that was just predatory, and that shouldn't be something coming from our local government. Because they couldn't really support the reevaluation, I couldn't find anything to support their reevaluation or even my appeal, because there was no sales in the community for that period.
Okay. Let me see if members of the board have questions, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Ashcraft.
So you couldn't find any sales because you bought the house in what, 207, 206?
No, I bought it.
The neighborhood wasn't, I'm trying to figure out.
Sorry, I bought it in 2007, right? But as of the time of the reevaluation here, there was really no sales within our community that can help.
23, 24, those years, there were no sales in that property.
No, there were sales, and they've done reevaluation multiple times. But this last one was, they had one 4 years before this one, right?
Yes.
And so the value that they had 4 years ago, prior.
60%.
67% increase in valuation, right?
Yep.
And I look at the sales that they presented to support that number, right? And there were really no sales within Christmark, which is it, and it's a big community.
Okay.
And they had 2 neighboring sales that were not, the houses were not even comparable to mine. So in my opinion, not sufficient data for them to increase my property value by 67%.
Got you.
Yes.
I understand where we're coming from.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I think I know what we're dealing with. Let's
Okay. Mr. Smith.
appreciate that.
No, I'm good. I want to hear from the county.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one question. I mean, you've got some loan closing documents in here.
That's
where
right.
It looks like you did a refinance on the property back in 2022.
That's correct,
And
yes.
borrowed the total loan amount was like $445,000.
That's right.
So I'm just assuming, and it says here it was a conventional refinance.
That's right.
If a $445,000 loan amount, I mean, the appraised value would have to be at least $556. I mean, did you have an appraisal?
I submitted, I couldn't find the actual report, but in the loan data, the appraised value was in there, which, as you know, they typically will even increase that to support the loan value, because the appraisers work with the lenders.
Right.
Right, and even there, the appraised value was significantly lower than,
Well, it was 3 years before the property reevaluation too, but,
it was 2 years really,
Yeah.
but even then, that's
Right.
still a significant increase in valuation.
okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I apologize. I have another question.
Okay, Mr. Ashcraft has a
I was looking at the property, it says taxpayer's opinion of value, $620,000. Is that correct?
Yes, I wanted.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. You are saying now that you think it's worth at the time, 620, even though you didn't have any sales or comps or anything about it, you don't know, but you wrote down 620. and you got the right number,
I
right?
did, because I was trying to be reasonable. I couldn't support it either, right? And that's my point,
Okay.
that they couldn't even support the number. So you could potentially just put a number out of nowhere and says, that's your new valuation, because there's no data to support what the 67% increase. So I'm just saying, well, 620, and I'm pulling that from nowhere, just like they did.
Okay.
To be reasonable, I'm not saying they shouldn't increase. I'm not opposed to property tax. I'm just saying that it was excessive.
Okay,
Yes.
I've got mine.
Okay, understood. Good to hear, Mr. Smith.
Well, I just do have, where in your documentations is that number reference from the appraisal?
It's on top, I think the page 1 or page 2 of it's the loan documentation, right? And they have like appraised value there. I think it's about 520,000 or something like that.
I think I remember seeing some
Is
kind
it
of
on
appraisal.
page 12? Oh, okay, page 12
Page
then.
12.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
That's what I was looking for, and I trying to see it.
I mean, I see a loan amount.
That's what I've seen as a loan amount. I hadn't seen appraised amount.
I came across some kind of appraisal disclosure form or something somewhere.
So we think it's on page 12, is that correct? Somebody said that somewhere. Y'all hear
Do
that
you
number?
see it there?
There's an
I can.
appraisal disclaimer.
Look at the top left portion
558, yeah.
where it says closing disclosure. Look down below there. It says appraised property value, 558,000. Can you see that?
What page is that?
I said 5.
12, on page 12.
Page 12,
Yeah, we can go.
That's good.
There it is right here.
Appraised property value,
Thank you, actually.
Y'all see it?
right, still not.
and that'd be
Yeah,
1 and 22.
550.
Yeah, it's right down at the bottom right here.
Yeah, I see.
I got it, 558.
Okay,
And I'm saying even that value is, usually the lenders work with the appraisers so that they can approve the property, that it might not necessarily reflect the true value, that it's higher in most cases, we're all homeowners here. It's just unreasonable, in my opinion, for them to increase within 4 years to have a 67% valuation.
yeah, your argument's just behind the percentage of increase.
That's
for the most
correct.
part. Okay,
I'm not opposed to increase,
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
not
just-
opposed to property tax,
it's just
but
the-
67% is too much.
okay,
Yes.
understood.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll hear from the county now,
All right, thank you.
and we'll give you a chance for any rebuttal comments after the county if you'd like to make any, okay?
All right, since we're on that page, we can look, and that loan was done January 21st of '22, so most likely when that appraisal was done, that was 2021 comps they were using. Ms. Wiggins pulled on page 31, there's a comper.
Yep.
I'll get you to it in a second here.
Oh, good. Page 31?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm doing this with my right hand, I'm left-handed. All right, so if you look on the sales are within close proximity. In fact, they're all on the same street, Chris Mark Drive. We have 2 in 2024 and 1 in 2023. It's good to note that we did not adjust, even though properties had increased from 2023, we did not make a time adjustment on this. We just kept it like it was. The sales are bracketed. There's 2 below and 1 above. The adjustments are within reasonable amounts. Like I say, close proximity, same quality homes, built close to around the same time period. If not, adjustments were made. If you look at the top left there, the moving average of the 3 comparables that we thought were best comes in higher than what we have it appraised at. It's at 693.2, and we're at 674.8. So based on that and a lack of any other evidence, we feel like we're in a good position to maintain this value.
Can I ask you?
You sure can.
Did you have an opportunity or at any time show these comps that you had?
It's my understanding that she was given these sales,
You actually
they
did?
send them out along with the notice of determination when we make our determination to deny the decrease.
Yeah.
The comper is sent along with it.
I don't have any
Yes.
questions. I appreciate your,
I think irregardless, whether right or wrong, I mean, her argument is the percentage of increase, period, not really, yeah.
Yeah, and we saw values go up 60
Right.
to
I saw
70%.
22,
Yeah,
23.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Smith, okay, all right. Good deal. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Is it Yemisi, any final comments?
Just that This is my primary residence. This is where my family live.
Right.
And it's not a commercial property. Now, if
We know
there's,
that, yeah.
if there's no cap on how much increases go every 4 years, you're going to be kicking a lot of family out of their homes. And I will, even though I'm a registered Democrat, support any candidate, Republican or Democrat, that campaigns on eliminating property tax, or at the very least, put a cap on it. 67% increase within 4 years is excessive.
Yes.
Thank you.
We understand what your argument is. Okay.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Okay.
All right,
All
we'll
right.
move to hearing number 7. This is for property key number 07096137, and the property owner is Bradley and Rebecca Austin.
You gave me that tip on the computer. Ready to roll.
I don't want that to happen. Mine keeps turning off. You know, play with it.
Oh, yeah.
I hate it.
This is very easy to do. though.
Okay.
This beats the hell out of killing trees.
Yeah, it sure does.
Gotcha. Yep.
So these whole group up together.
I still like this a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
Perfect.
It's faster going through page number 2.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. We can get to something. Yeah.
Pile of paper.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Going to the map here, we are, you see the southernmost main road is Weddington Road, or 84. You've got Wesley Chapel Road to the left, Gold Mine kind of funneling into the area. We're in Sun Valley School District, and the appellant actually has 4 appeals, and each parcel has been noted on the map.
Okay.
The first 3 do not have homes on them, the last one does. So I guess we'll treat these separately.
Yeah, let's see, on the, is it the same concern with the first 3? Is it pretty much?
I believe so. I'm going to pull up, flood is an issue, so I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, we can deal with each of them. I mean, we're going to definitely.
Well, they're right beside
Yeah.
each other, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we can do the first one, and then it might be the same thing for the next 2, like we did before.
I like that better.
Yeah, so the 4 parcels, the one that's highlighted on the screen, it's that one, and then the 3 parcels north of it, with his home being located on parcel ending in 140.
Right, so we're working our
Okay.
way from south to north.
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
All right, so yeah, it's right there, I see it.
okay.
Perfect.
Let's see.
And all those lots are $6,800.
And then that is with flood turned on,
Yes,
you can see.
first one is, it's not flooded now.
Yeah.
First 2.
I do a little shower this weekend.
No, it's not flooded now, but it does frequently.
Okay, Mr. Austin, I presume?
Yes, my name is Bradley James Austin.
Okay,
The only additional documentation I had was the flood
And
plains,
I
but,
can pull that up for you.
okay.
I like that, that's good.
I was going to present this, but you've got it on the board pretty much, so,
So that starts all the stuff that you said.
Okay.
Scroll down.
perfect, perfect. So my name is Brad Austin. I own the 1011 Mayflower Trail. Just to give you a little backdrop, I purchased this property, an additional 4 on the other side of the road, an additional 3 on July 23rd, 2021. Since then, I've sold the ones on the 4, on the other side, those 3 on the other side. So today, I was presented with this appraisal, a 4,000% increase. Pretty much, the chart I made here shows the percentages of the increase. But on average, it was, 3,600 on that parcel, 4,401% increase, and 3,483% increase. And so my question is not whether there should be an increase in value. I understand how much value's increased all across Union County. But my evaluation is the comparable sales of the three I sold across the street. And so that's where my argument is, that those properties, these properties in consideration, I'm going to call it the left side, have unique physical changes to the floodplain, continued flooding, and the flood limitations affecting these properties. So again, at the time I purchased, all three of the lower ones, so 37, 38, and 39, all three of these were considered unbuildable. Yeah,
And you couldn't
thanks.
perk too? Is that what you're saying?
Or the flood issues.
It was flood issues.
Right.
So when I purchased it, these three here, 37, 38, and 39, were considered unbuildable. And I have the original documentation for 37 and 38. 39, I don't have a physical copy of it, but I'm sure you have the records there. So what I did in due diligence, because I wanted to sell some of the property, I was in over my head. There was a lot of repair that had to be done on the house. So I hired someone, Lisa Giovanello, who specializes in vacant land sales, to evaluate these properties. So in cooperation with Wesley Chapel City, because we're considered in the city of Wesley Chapel in Union County, the results were that these bottom two, 37 and 38, did not have significant buildable area outside the floodplain and non-encroachment zones to qualify as individual buildable lots. And so the only consideration would be if we reformed these parcels, these two, into one, so that it had a forming buildable parcel out of the combination. I reached out to Lisa recently. When this appraisal came through, she said there's been no material change since that evaluation was done. At the same time, I had the same evaluation done on the three over here to your right, what I'm calling the right side. These parcels were considered to have enough buildable and development consideration. And the result was they were unbuildable. Property classification was removed, and I sold the properties. One final consideration that distinguishes this left side from the right side is that before purchasing, and I have pictures of this, the previous owner here of 36, parcel 36 down here, he removed all the trees on his property. He added dirt, and what I later proved by survey, even 15 to 20 feet into my parcel 37, to change, and this significantly changed the water flow from the flood. So the argument is this, that respectfully appeal that these parcels on the right, these sales, are not appropriate comparable sales for the left side. The flood conditions, just to give kind of a summary of what goes on from the flood conditions, the impact is from reoccurring creek overflow conditions associated with stormwater discharge entering from Fulton Ridge and Brook Valley neighborhoods. So if I was to zoom out here, Fulton Ridge is across the street, your left, Brook Valley's on your right. And so approximately 30 minutes after it rains, it comes in, pun intended, like a flood. So some of the documentation, some of the pictures that I have just recently.
Yeah, I'm looking at that on page 31.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Page 31.
I'm getting there. Here we go. All right, so this is that property 36. It's not a very good, I can't really zoom in there.
It's that man's house that you said that
Yeah.
cut down all the trees.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's,
And so,
Built a dam or something.
yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
Need some beavers over there.
Yeah, he needs some. And So just to continue, we've got updated pictures as well down here. As long as this, that's it. Oh, here's my appeal. I apologize. I got to scroll all the way to the bottom here. Good gracious. Keep going. All right. Oh, no. Go back.
Oh, here we go, yeah. Like on 59 and 60.
Yes. Okay, and I've got, I mean, these came off, oh my goodness.
Who touched it?
Whew. Let's page it. Yeah, just hit the page. Right there.
Yeah, just hit that.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. 65, was it?
I'm down like on 59.
59 to
Yeah,
65 and see
60.
that guy.
Okay.
If you just click in there, you can type 50.
So the road's underwater.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see the picture.
I think you said 59 though.
59.
All right, perfect.
He was kind of
So here
close
is
on
where, this was taken in June 2021. So I just purchased the property. Its owner's name was Chris. And when I approached him, I had an app on my phone in his backyard. And I said, he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm not really sure. I think I'm standing on my land, but you've cut the trees."
He cut trees off of your land?
Yes, he did. If you look right here, there's a transformer on that telephone pole back there by that large tree.
Yep.
That's my property line.
There you go.
And it comes all the way up to here, so some 20-foot plus into there. And then he proceeded to bring in dirt, so all the water would go over to my side. So when I found this out, my broker and everything, Wesley Chapel City, I understood was in the process of determining whether they could pursue legal action. I don't know where that landed, but he quickly sold that house and got out of town. The next owner came in, it flooded so bad, here's some of the results.
Wow.
Excuse me?
That's just wild. I'm seeing your picture. It really did flood.
Yeah. And so then, this owner came in, they lasted 9 months.
Yep.
Because this was the results. This is us trying to get into the property on the day after Christmas. My house again is up on this far left hill, but those trees are mine. And this is what happens right here to mine. So it comes all the way in.
Yep.
And this is the front. I've got footage of the back too. This is more the front. Granted, you're almost above 37 now, into 38 at this point. Now you're into 38. Okay, that second one. I'm just coming up the street. This is the backside, and I've got video. Obviously, I couldn't put a video in here. It's odd to look at it this way, but this is just overflowing that creek back there. And this is the view from my property looking down at that White House.
Gotcha.
Just the water just flooding in. Likewise here, that is your easement for your sewer line. And there's no, or not, I think that's water, not sewer. No, that's sewer. That's your easement there. So the county, cuts that every, twice a year or something like that, once a year. And so there's no deterrent, there's no trees, it just floods, it just flows. This is more water, and then this is another day. The worst happened on, I think I documented it, the 23rd, late to the 23rd. The house across the street from this totally flooded. She was in her back upper room, and that was the only room.
Coming from your house back out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's flowing from my land. It comes down from Fulton Ridge,
Yeah.
stormwater, and from Brook Valley. You give it about 30 minutes, and here she blows.
Now Fulton Ridge, is that like a new development?
No, it's developed, I actually own a property in there. It was 2000, but when I talked to some people about it, they said it's been greater than 10 years, and you can't sue anybody.
Yeah.
And this house, I started to buy this White House in early 2000s. And it was condemned, it was foreclosed, because they had started building it and then all the flooding. And then, I don't know how this guy ended up building, but then he proceeded to cut down all the trees, from my understanding without permission, and then it just aggravated things worse, and this is where we're at. So, the county currently has a study going on for, my understanding, drainage and stormwater evaluation related to this left side. I haven't heard the results. I've seen the little white truck out there occasionally, and that's all I've seen. We petitioned, there's 3 property owners, or 4, 3 with houses. We petitioned the county and just said, look, we need some help. I mean, you can see I can't get in my road when it floods. So I think just that enough is, even though I don't have those results, the fact that they needed to do the study. So what should it be evaluated at? I tried not to be arbitrary here, but I'm not a broker as far as pulling real estate land and what should be floodplain and stuff like that. But I put a 50% increase based upon just overall property evaluation increase of vacant land with floodplain, and the evaluations I put are down here. We can do parcel at a time if you want to. I don't know how you want to proceed.
No, I think if, as long as you're okay with it, if we've got the same dilemma for the lots, we could we'll have the clerk call them individually, and you
Okay.
can add some comments.
Sure.
But then we may address the one with improvements if there's different issues there.
Absolutely.
So with what you've said, let me get you to have a seat. Let's hear
Sure.
from the county.
Actually,
Wait a minute, yeah, question.
I do have one question. On this picture on, I guess it's 65, you're on the road, I see the water, then the house. Is that looking from your property or towards your property?
Towards my property.
Towards your property.
So those-
So it goes underwater going towards your property? I mean, the road does?
Correct.
Okay, that's my
Yeah.
question.
Those trees behind that house there,
That's the property.
that's
right?
my property plus
A
20
little
plus
bit of
feet
the
in because he cut all my trees too.
It's the start of his property up there.
Is up
Past
there at
white
the tree
house.
line, basically, just
Going in.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Ashcraft?
I got a question. So, being that it's flooded now, but when it was dry, you could drive right on up through
Oh, yeah.
there and get to your house. And as we pass that White House, if I'm not mistaken, your 3 lots that you have listed, right, in floodplain too and all that, is on the left.
Correct.
On the right, you acquired those properties and you sold those. And as we looked on the map, half of it's probably in floodplain too, right?
Right.
So when did you sell those lots?
Yeah, I sold those in 2022, but the difference is a different water source. They're both in floodplains, but when I had a.
So is that side over on those other lots, it's flooded like this? You know, the lots you sold?
No, it doesn't flood like that.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
No, sir.
It's a
Looks
different-
higher.
Different creek.
No, sir. Different creek.
Okay.
And it doesn't have the same stormwater dump, because it's not just the rainwater. It's from the 90 houses and 120 houses in the streets.
Runoff,
Yeah, yeah.
So even though you sold them in 22, what did you sell them for?
84, and so that's what they evaluated as comps.
Okay.
But they're not comparable.
Okay.
is my-
No.
Yeah.
But see, it's good for me to know.
Yes, sir.
You said you owned them and you sold them.
Yep.
So I figured, hey, what'd you sell them for?
Exactly.
You told me it was 84, and I feel much better. Mr. Chairman, you can go right ahead. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Austin, and we'll now hear from the county. And we'll give you a chance for any rebuttal comments you'd like to make, if need be.
So if you'll turn to page 38, you'll see the sales data that we used for our analysis. And I'm going to pull it up on the map so that I can show you where we are. So 3 of the sales were his sales of parcel ending 41, 42, and 43, which you see right here. So these would be the 3 on the right side. From our analysis, they're very similar. You've got flood in the back, but based on the sales data, you can put houses on these. Across the street, we treated 38 and 39 the same as the three across the street. 37, we do have discounted at 25% for flood. I pulled up some neighboring parcels to compare. So 36, the one with the house that's in the middle of it, we also have discounted at 25%. Across the street, let's see, we'll go up here to 41, which is one of the lots that he sold. We have no flood discount. 42, no flood discount. 43, no flood discount. Coming down here to 44, which this parcel is very similar to 37, almost entirely in flood. We've got that discounted also at 25%. So from an equity standpoint, I feel like we've been very consistent with these parcels.
Questions for the county, Mr. Smith?
So 35, the
35.
first one. Yeah, the one in blue on your screen there.
37, you mean?
37?
It's 37, I can't read the.
Yes, 37.
Yep.
So you're given a 25% discount, but it's basically all in the floodplain.
Correct.
So not a 25% value, but a 75% value of normal, is what you're saying.
Right. Yep. Because that's
It's
what
not
all of the other parcels receive the same discount.
I may disagree with that.
Yeah.
The,
So,
and then 38, how much discount did you give that one for flood?
Nothing.
Even though over half of the properties, well over half, is in flood.
Well, if you look at 41, 42,
Well,
and
no,
43,
just let me
yeah.
finish
So
my
we're, you know,
question.
we do it from a consistency
Let me
standpoint.
finish my question. How much built out of the floodplain is in 38?
I'm sorry, how much?
58, excuse me. How much of that parcel is out of the floodplain?
on 38.
Number 38 you talking about?
38.
On parcel, it is in 138.
Yeah.
And I assume being there's sewer in the back, there's water and sewer to these properties. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Usually sewer's harder to get than water, so if you see sewer, you usually have water.
Yeah.
Let's see if I could. Your question was on 38, is that correct?
138.
Yep.
Is that a half acre, 3/4?
We're getting ready to find out. Give him a
Yep,
second.
he's getting ready to map it in for me.
That is good.
Just over a half acre, and that's rough estimate with,
That's a rough half acre.
yeah,
That's
And,
good.
and a half acre is buildable,
yeah.
yeah. But the one below it, there is no buildable pad.
No,
It holds the earth together.
correct. You know, but the odd thing, 36 is entirely in a flood zone, and there's a house there, so,
Yeah, but it's inhabitable. I mean, it can be there, but
I mean, somebody lives there.
somebody allowed it to get built at one time.
Right.
That doesn't mean.
And then
you-
across
You,
the-
you could never build one there today.
So
I don't know of any town that has, conditions that allow you to build
In a flood.
in a floodplain like that. I know our
Well, that
town.
house
does.
is sitting in.
So 44 is sitting also in the flood zone. And this house,
Just because they were built back then doesn't mean you can build them today because the rules. I
Michael,
mean,
could
I don't-
you
I don't know about
see the date
Wesley
built?
Chapel, but I know in my town, you wouldn't build, we wouldn't give a permit to build anybody there.
I think 36 is newer.
And I
He's gonna
think
pull
these
up the year built.
developments up above were built before the new stormwater rules came in, and that's why you have the flooding issue, which we have in a number of parts of the county.
Have they built any houses on those other lots that he sold?
Not yet.
Okay.
But if you're out of the floodplain and have enough land, you can build.
Yeah.
My real question is on that bottom lot next to the guy's house.
Sorry, it's a little slow for Wi-Fi. Give me 1 second.
You got what now?
It's Wi-Fi is a
Yeah.
little slow. We're looking it up for you though.
This is 36. That's why.
Houses got built in places they shouldn't have gotten built back in the day. I'll leave it at that.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
You see anything that says you're built?
Right there, 2013.
Yeah, so 136 is 2013 was the date. I believe across the street, 144, if I can pull that.
I've had to deal with people like this, their water issues, it's just crazy. And they were overbuilt homes.
72? Yeah, so that one's older. That one was built in 72.
Okay, and what's the land value of those two where the houses are built? You know what I mean, trying to,
I don't know the exact amount, but they're
but you
discounted
have some kind of discount.
25
25%.
25% on
So that's all
both.
you need to say to me is that, okay, look, it's mass appraisal, you just give it a certain amount.
Right.
That's what you do, you can't just.
Correct.
Would you bring up the orthogonal from north to south on there showing kind of where he was showing those pictures? I'm still having a problem understanding where he was standing. So, yeah, switch from mosaic to orthogonal on the bottom left. So, yeah, so it's, where it says February,
Yep.
change it to the other one, which is the top one. And zoom in a little bit. Fight the mouse.
Yeah, this,
Sorry, it's because there's so, it's, now, switch it from, the opposite direction, so on the top, on the circle, do the top one there, the top one.
top.
There you go. Okay. So when he was taking those pictures, is he taking them from that utility?
Yeah, where is he taking them from? I thought,
Go a little bit further down. There you
I
go.
thought he was looking
So, yeah,
south to north.
So, right there is the house, point to the house that's flooded, okay. I couldn't tell if he was taking them from the road to the south or from the utility easement to the north, but it looks like all the flooding was around that house for the most part. Is that?
That was my understanding is a lot of the pictures were of this property, not necessarily his property.
but he was showing the road on. in front of
Correct,
that
yeah.
Property that.
Yeah, as you
can't
come-
drive to get to his house or come back out. That's,
As you come up this road, there is an incline. So that would be, kind of the low point would be the 136 property.
and over here to the other side, you know, this house, whoa, right there, you know, the red dot, you got that one.
Right there. Mhm.
It wasn't in floodplain, it wasn't flooded.
We don't know.
Yeah, I
He
didn't
said
see any pictures of
He said
it.
his lot's over here on this side is not affected by this, you know, flooding that takes place.
Well,
His lots,
Not
are right
fully.
beside that lot. I don't know how it floods, but.
well,
This
what I,
side's turned around, isn't
yeah, what I saw is he showed pictures in the woods, because you can see
Yeah.
that is the easement where the sewer goes through.
Right
He
back here.
showed that.
Coming down in the middle of 37,
Yep,
whatever.
yep, into
and it goes
38.
all the way down.
Yeah, he showed that all flooded, which it should. I mean, it's in the flood.
Yeah, I mean,
It's woods that all looks the
Yeah.
same.
I don't doubt that 37, it's almost entirely in a flood zone. I'm sure it does
Yeah.
flood. From a county perspective, we treated it like every other parcel around it and gave it the 25%.
Yeah.
And Mark, to answer your question, the value on the lot that has the house on it that was almost encapsulated by the flood was 62.8.
62, $62,800 for land only, not the land part. Okay, and
And 137, we have 64.5.
yes,
And pardon my ignorance on this one. 38 and 39, there's been no flood influence
Correct.
applied.
Yes, sir.
It just seems like to me there would be. I mean, even though they're buildable lots.
Yeah, I think because they're so similar to the lots across the street, where you've got the front half, and like with this size, it's half acre, that would be considered enough room for a house.
Right, and I get that it's buildable.
Right.
But it still seems like it would have some flood influence. maybe. Okay.
Other question, have y'all always applied just a 25% discount to floodplain or unbuildable, or has there been a change?
Well-
Y'all have increased that number over the years? 'Cause
Lowered it.
Different counties look at it different ways, because I dealt with this at some beach property on unbuildable.
So when
What
it's,
have y'all historically done?
yeah, go ahead.
So when you're dealing with lots like this in a subdivision, just like Will mentioned, you try to let what they're selling for and let the neighborhood tell you, So we're looking at these lots across the road that the gentleman just sold them for, in the 80-something thousand dollars, 82 to 85,000. So that's a benchmark for lots that are, half in flood and have a place to build. So the ones across the road are not much different than that. So they're very comparable. And then, so we look, so then we took 25% off the other lots because they do have houses on them. They are being lived in, they are being used. That gentleman just bought 136 in 2024 for $539,000.
How much did you pay?
$539. The one that's.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I see. They do sell.
So we're letting the market try to tell us.
And let me ask you this, on those lots, 43, 42, 41, it looks like over half of that is in floodplain. That's what.
Most
How big are
definitely.
that, how big is the lot itself?
I would say 2/3 are in the flood.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
But they
They're
have a
actually-
good building pad on the road, that's
Just-
why they're worth what they are.
Just like number 138, yes, sir. They're very comparable with that. Actually,
Yeah, they're
number one-
comparable to 138, exactly.
Yes, sir.
I see that. My question's really on 37. I just have a hard issue with something.
When you see a house beside it, when
But-
you see
but
a
I don't-
house,
I don't see how.
tear down them trees,
Nobody
and
could,
somebody built a house beside it, and it sold for 550.
nobody could build on that property
I agree. Nobody can build on that.
and get a mortgage, because you'd never get flood insurance for it. I guarantee you that.
Okay.
Now, you could build it with cash and do your own money and take your own chances, which
I
is
know.
probably somebody bought that one for cash down there and didn't have to get a mortgage. But that's why you,
And that-
you
yeah.
don't get built in the floodplain.
Help me with this too. I mean, evidently, there's no consideration, or maybe it can't be done, but if the flood issue is coming from stormwater runoff from another development. And he's given us pictures,
Yeah, that would be good to see where that
you know.
development is, how it flows.
And to me, that affects the marketability of the property.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
But
they
I
should-
mean, it's flooding property that's not in a floodplain.
And is there any consideration given for the sewer easement? Because it cuts right through the property.
No, sir.
No, that's where they got that line right there.
Well, you can
It's
see the
all in
line,
middle of
it cuts the
floodplain.
property in half. Now, you can access it, but you can't, that's not where you couldn't do any construction there if you
No,
ever had.
nobody's gonna do it.
But I mean, if he's bringing videos and pictures of
Yeah.
all that flooding and it's not in the floodplain and you gotta, I'm just saying, if all this is correct and you've got the stormwater runoff causing all that, is there anything y'all are able to do, or is that a board decision?
That would be a board decision.
That's what I thought.
That's what I figure.
And I did mention to the property owner, the option of if he were to combine these three, he would be hit for one home site as opposed to three.
Good,
So
good point.
I think he's going to look into that.
At least combine the floodplain one to.
They have the two bottom ones.
You know?
Yeah, and if we apply any additional influences, I mean, isn't that looked at every year? I mean, does that have to be or is it on there
Till the next time.
Well,
till the next revow?
It'll be on there till the next reappraisal.
Okay.
And I'll just say this too, just for the homeowner and the board's sake, that if those homes weren't already in there in the middle of the flood zone, you know, and if we had a precedent, if we knew that, you know, you could not build a house in these lots that were completely covered in flood, then we would have treated it differently. But in our homes that are in the flood, are being lived in, that just sold, so we felt like treating them as being completely unbuildable wouldn't have been responsible, because
No.
obviously they're selling that way.
Right.
Right.
I understand, but I don't like that concept.
Yeah, but we could still,
Yeah.
okay. So I think everybody, county good,
Yep.
board?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good with all three of them.
So we're good. We may need to have the clerk read off
Yeah,
the
I'm
next
I'll
two.
call them in.
Okay.
Please do.
All right, so we just covered, that was hearing number 7 that was called in. But within the discussions, that also covered hearing number 8 for property key number 07096138. Property owner Austin Bradley James and, Rebecca and Bradley Austin. We covered hearing number 9 for property key number,
Can I interrupt really fast? You didn't give him a chance to rebut. I don't know if you
I
want
was
to.
thinking about that. I don't,
I'm so sorry.
we probably still can read this in, and then I'll give it before we hear the next one.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Hearing number 9
thank you, though.
was covered for parcel number 07096139 for Bradley and Rebecca Austin.
And before we go to the next one, which is 40, is that correct, 140?
Yeah.
Let me see if Mr. Austin, are there any rebuttal comments that you have as it relates to hearing 7, 8, and 9?
Which
Sure.
were ending in 37, 38, and 39.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. I mean, I appreciate the bulk pricing that the appraisers have to do. In regards to the houses that are built, I understand that. I truly believe, as Mr. Smith has said, these were grandfathered in, and there is no way all those would get building permits now to build on that land, both on my left side and that one on the right. Already, the one on the right has had a total loss, 4 cars destroyed. 2 cars from the one on the left, 2 more on the right, and the total house. So, I mean, I am anxious for the survey to come back just so we can do something. So I'm not going to get my daughter at the top of the hill in my Jeep just so she can come to her house. In addition, I do not feel like there was the consideration, I see the floodplain, I understand that, for the left side's uniqueness to the stormwater runoff from the above neighborhoods, the sewer easement, and the changing of the floodplain due to the removal of the trees. That floodplain has not been updated since that gentleman removed those trees, added that dirt, and changed the water flow. So it's not a true reflection of how my property floods.
That's kind of heading down some of the questions I was asking. Yeah. Okay. So,
Good deal.
Yes, sir.
thank you on that. If you would, you might just want to keep standing unless, we're going to have the county locate the property for the next one that has the improvements on it.
Okay.
And see if.
Sure.
Okay, so that takes us to hearing number 10 for property key number 07096140, and this is for Bradley and Rebecca Austin.
So subject property is on lot 140. It's at the top, I think.
Is that his house?
That's his house.
So now his house is involved?
Right.
With those other lots?
Correct.
Okay,
We got the top of the cul-de-sac, the lot to the left.
okay. And your lot, you had an opinion of value for your,
Yeah,
is it a house?
it's a house with 5 kids.
You put
and-
down $70,000.
Excuse me?
Is it hearing number 10, are we on hearing number 10?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got a taxpayer opinion of $70,350, and I'm asking you, is that your home too? And I hadn't heard it. That's where you live and that's that house?
Yeah, but I was only evaluating the land like the others were.
See, that you answered my question.
Yes, sir. Land portion. I'm just asking for consideration of that back portion that's in the flood. I can't do anything with that.
Okay, so
But-
that makes sense.
Okay.
It's that floodplain again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Smith?
I guess well, if I look at this one, you have the buildable area, there is floodplain in the very back.
Yes, sir.
But how does it really impact the value of the lot when just a small portion of it, you have more than ample building room
Correct.
for whatever you need? I mean, personally, I got 4.5 acres and 2 of it's underwater half the time, but that's just where it is way in the back.
Okay.
How does that really affect the buildable, useful area? That's what my question to you is, just because you got a little bit in the back that's on this parcel that's flooded or could flood, how does it really affect the lot value?
Just proportionally, I can't use that much of the acreage, but it does not affect the buildableness of the top portion. I don't have any argument towards that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any additional information that you wanted, I might have cut you off a little bit, any additional information you want to present on this one?
No, sir, I think it's just the uniqueness of the left side that I've already stated.
Okay, all right. If you would have a seat, and we'll hear from the county on this one.
Okay, we originally had an amount of 368. When the appellant filed the appeal, notice that we haven't visited the properties. I think it was 2014. So Greg and I went out, take a look at it. The last time that we had visited the property, I believe it was vacant or abandoned. It was in pretty bad shape, so we had it at a fair condition rating. Went out on the field visit. The property has been renovated. I think there's pictures here. That's the old photo. New photos there. Remeasured the property. We went from 2760 square feet to 3229. So we had an increase of about 600 square feet. I believe there was a portion of the upper level that we had not captured. We also took the condition rating from fair to very good, which caused the value to increase. And then if you go to page 51, you'll see our, oh boy.
I think it's 50% you have to hit it on.
Why could I not get
This is
this?
the
Yeah.
greatest beard. If you do that window width, it will take it to the width of the window.
Gotcha, okay.
And then you can take it to your 100.
Okay. We used 6 comps on this. They're all within a mile of the subject property. So we feel like, didn't have a lot of sales in the neighborhood, so we pulled more sales in for analysis. So we feel like, we have a pretty good, we've captured the market pretty well.
And I don't know if I'm still hung up on the same thing. Even though that's his house and most of it is not in flood, the road floods, so you,
Access.
yeah. I mean, that road.
Yeah, so I'm assuming the photos, so, you get to the house, this road does cut directly through the flood zone.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's, if you did have this, flooding in the street, that's where you would encounter it.
Okay. Mr. Ashcraft, do you have any questions?
Not for the county, good job. He just told me that, his opinion of value was really 70,000 for the land itself. What does the county have land value for that? Since it's a lot more than, I don't know how many acres. What does it say?
86.1 is what we have on the land, and
Okay,
then that would,
86, yep.
yep.
Kind of similar.
It'd
to
be
the one-
consistent with the other
The
side.
ones on the other side, he
Right.
sold for like 82 and 22 or whatever
Right.
it was.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
But you went up from 308 to 508 because it's been improved, correct?
Yes, it was.
Correct.
That's what,
There's been a pretty substantial renovation.
yeah.
Agree.
And he didn't even.
Yeah,
he
he's
wasn't
fine.
complaining about the
Right.
house, he was just.
I don't think so.
He never talked about it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Austin, any rebuttal comments as it relates to that particular parcel, hearing 10, 6140?
No, sir, I agree. We
Nope.
put a lot of work into that house.
Okay.
I'm right
Okay.
proud that they thought it was better.
We
So
don't hear that too often, do we?
that's, my only thing is on the land.
Okay. Mr. Ashcraft has a question.
Yes, sir.
You know, after all this information you provided and everything, and
Right.
Mr. Smith over here is worried about, the land's not worth anything, there's no value to it, and all that. My question to you is, how did you feel in 22 when you sold those 3 lots and you knew all that was floodplain, or did you know?
Those right sides totally different.
I-
And so they
They don't flood, no?
don't
flood
flood.
it up?
No, we
Okay.
Even though it's in a floodplain.
we bow hunt over there all the time. I know that land. And it's not, it doesn't flood. The left side floods due to the stormwater drain off. It's not reflected on the floodplain.
So how far does that flood, when you show the pictures of the house
Yes, sir.
being surrounded, how much of that water is over onto your property, the first lot, the second lot, third lot, you know what I'm talking about? How far-
Well, it depends on how much it rains, obviously, but it'll go all the way into the second lot.
Okay,
And then in the back, it encroaches all the way even on all 4.
okay.
Because obviously that's where the creek comes down,
It comes
and then
down
it
there.
turns.
Behind your lots or taking in your lots?
Actually, on my back lot, that 37 is where the turn starts.
Yes.
And it's actually a little bit of a
And it
snake.
kind of goes down towards your house over that you actually live. This part right up here at the top, it goes in that direction.
Yes, sir. So if you'll
Okay.
see, the creek
Like
is,
that.
the creek is here. You
Oh.
can't see the mouse. Yeah, you can see the mouse. So it goes in here and it twists and turns through here
Okay,
a good bit. And so it starts overflowing. I mean,
There you go, you're
way up here.
okay,
And those pictures, I know y'all were referencing where I was at. I was here trying to get to my house when I took those pictures,
okay.
right here, looking down. So the water just flood extremely bad right here. The water, the road's already chipped up and
And
eroding.
it's coming from down below, right?
No, up above.
Oh,
It's coming from up above. It's
okay.
coming from this neighborhood.
Okay,
And then if I,
Yep, I got it now.
Fulton Ridge is all the way up here. But
Okay,
they pump that water into that little small creek. It can't hold it.
okay.
And my land's just wide enough and level enough that that's where it starts spreading out.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you,
Gotcha,
sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
County, have any rebuttal comments?
No.
Okay.
One quick follow-up. It's difficult for the market to adjust to a singular event. If something happens once every 3 years, the market can't see that or adjust to that, so it's difficult. I understand it may, on a really bad rain, cost you time to wait, but there's no way the market can reflect that because a seller would have to be standing there at that moment in time to see that in order for it to actually have an effect on the market.
Yeah, that's kind of why I asked the question. I wanted to make, y'all have not made any adjustment. If you had a lot of complaints from the neighbors there about all that stormwater runoff.
Right. And that's why it can be difficult, and especially, and the reason why we often don't, if you look at a property like this, you think, well, it's unbuildable or half of it, is a floodplain. The flip side of that is when it's listed, often it says creek view, or it says beautiful wooded area. So the fact that it has floodplain, or, we talked about before, it has topography issues, that's rolling hills to some people. So that isn't always a negative.
Right.
As long as there's a building site, or the ability to change it to a building site, we don't see, and the evidence would be the one that is completely in floodplain, has flood issues, and still sold for over $500,000.
Yeah, good point.
And I just wanted to add, we haven't received any other appeals from any of these surrounding parcels.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. All righty.
May I say one other thing to his comments?
Yes.
On the sales of the property, I think it's worth noting how quickly those properties have turned over. I've owned this property for, about 4 years, 4.5 years. Land ownership on that bottom one has changed 3 times already. Because they're tired of their stuff being flooded. They're tired of parking their cars on the road up at my house because they know it's going to rain that night.
Yeah.
It's so frequent. That's what they do. Trevor will pull his car out, come up my driveway and park it up on the hill because here comes the rain that night. And you can look at the records and see how often it's sold. I mean, I don't have insurance claims from where they've turned in. I've only had to turn in one, but they've turned in multiple, and then they get tired of it, they sell it. The person that bought it here from out of state, they have no idea. They see it on, like the gentleman said here, Creek View.
Yeah.
Beautiful, come by me. And they come in from Colorado, and day one I tell them, first of all, I own 30 feet of your yard all the way back, and I know your broker didn't tell you that, but I have the survey. And then get ready for the floods.
Understood. Thank you.
Good neighbor.
All right, that'll take us to hearing number 11. This is for property key number 03108003C, and the taxpayer is Sam, and he is here today.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and
morning.
members of the board.
Good morning.
Going to go to the map on page 7. Well, anyway, if you can see it on your screens, you'll head southeast out of Monroe, down 601. About 11 miles down, you'll turn left onto Lansford Road, and then right onto to Philadelphia Church Road, and that's where the parcel's located. Let me see here. What's, oh, I see. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. Any questions on the location?
No, I know where that is.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I'll just go quickly back and say I purchased it in 2014 for $8,500, and that's a legitimate sale from Union County Court. The property has a mobile home that is 42 years old, so it's pretty much when I was a baby. And they never been to the property at the time they increased the appraisal till my second time declining their reevaluation. Also, I've been paying taxes on this property on a $29K for a year or two after I purchased it. So my taxes was $29, their assessment. And then it went up all the way up to 2025. I think it was $35,300. That was right before the new increase, $35,300. And then suddenly jumped up to $110,000 and $700. And that will be a 314% increase on a 42 years old mobile home on a 1 acre land in the county, where if we take into consideration facts like there's no scarcity, it's just not a unique parcel of land except it has a unique parcel or map ID. Other than this, it's an acre in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. You see, members of the board have questions. Mr. Ashcraft?
Okay. Mike? We're doing hearing number 11, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry. I don't have any questions at this time. I'm just making sure I'm on, nope.
Yeah. And if I may add also to my surprise, I went back in December.
I had the wrong.
I'm sorry.
We're good.
Yeah, I was just want to add another comment. I was going to pay my property tax back in December of last year, and I was saying like, no, you have got something wrong. Clearly something's wrong here, so I want to look at this. It looks like blind appraisal to me, and I don't really remember the name, so excuse me for this. The gentleman with the, sitting to the right was there, said, yeah, let me look at it. I'm the one who does the appraisal. I may drive by and see it, but you're past your appeal window. I said, I didn't receive any papers, so I'll go ahead and pay my taxes. And then they hand me the packet and say, you have to do it, I believe, in March, which I did. Then I get a phone call after.
Make sure you're speaking into the mic. You might need
Sorry.
to turn it up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just turn it up. and dig it.
Yeah,
Turn it
yeah,
up a
I'm
little
sorry.
bit.
And then when I did the appeal in March, I get the paper sent to me for comparables that are not in any way comparables, and I can go through them and itemize them one by one. And then I decline, and I went back again and get a stamped paper that I'm rejecting this, and I want to be with the board. Then I get another phone call, or second phone call from a gentleman. I really forget the name, but I believe from the voice, it was the one that was here right now.
Okay.
Just trying to remember the voice over the phone.
Okay.
Have you ever been to the property? No. So how come you decline my appeal form that is here and say you stick to your value? Okay, we'll see what we're gonna do. Then I get another phone call on the 9th of this month. Oh, you are scheduled for 2 meetings, one today and one in 10/20. Which one you are coming to? I said, no, I'm not scheduled for anything. I receive a letter from you saying if I am to come, I have to pick a date, and I have to submit any document. And to make it really simple, because it doesn't worth my time, it's too much headache for something that looks logic to me, logical. I'm gonna just use whatever paper you give to me against you. So I'm scheduled for the 20th. Oh, we got good news for you. We lowered the value to 100, I believe. Numbers are not really in my mind. And instead of 110, I said, no, I'll still go. How come you value a mobile home that is depreciating, that's 42 years old, at $58,000? When 10 years ago, you were evaluating it when it was in a good shape, probably like 15 or 12 or 14. Even though I can go myself, I buy and sell properties, I can go grab one from the auction or two for $1,000 or $2,000. Because it really doesn't worth anything except it's already there. It's like a grandfather thing. I will use that term even though it's not just to deliver what I mean. It's already there. I don't have to go through the headache and replacing and getting new permits and new everything for something like this. Then I shifted to the land value. Therefore, comparison that they have in the sheet, I don't know what numbers here, but still in the letter they sent to me. They have 4 properties. They're comparing my 1 acre lot for 52 grand, where they have 5 acres at 80 grand. 52 something thousand for 1 acre compared to 20 or 19K. That's one thing. The other thing, they're comparing homes that are 1992. I'm talking about mobile home, not a home. So it's a trailer. It's a depreciating thing. It's not really a house like I have it in a city or a house that I have it in a historic zone. I can't really replace, or I can't. There is nothing unique, absolutely nothing unique. But you have a lot at 52K in the county of Monroe on 601, where I can get multiple for less than 10K. And if I'm to buy, his justification over the phone was, oh, because it's a smaller land, we price it more than the larger lot. So, well, convince me if I'm a buyer and tell me, the first question, how much land it sits on? Well, I'm gonna go buy in the county. I go to the county to get free from the city. So I want a bigger land. The other thing is their homes, when they deduct the value depreciation, I don't know which page of the sheet, but it's this one with the picture of my house compared to the other one. If I look at the second one, the second column, the one that's 1992, they're depreciating it $3,700 from mine, which is the difference between them 7 years in mobile home age, like we say in dog ages. We're not comparing apple to anything. Needless to say, there is a difference in the size, the area, square footage. Going to the second one, 1991, depreciating $2,700 for a 6 years difference. If I go buy a car from a lot, if I go buy a trailer, if I go buy a mobile home and switch and turn around, it's gonna be close to 50% off. If I go to the last one on the second page, they have 4 acres and 4.1 acres priced at $80,000, $800. My 1 acre is $52,800 or $200. In what logic, what sense? And that home is like 4.61. The other thing, you're comparing sales value in an era where everybody's rushing for mortgage. They are actually setting up the county for another real estate collapse. I do buy properties from auctions, from foreclosures, from everything. And the way they assess things, it's another setup for another disaster to happen. Even though my amount is not that much increase when I go dollar to dollar on what I pay because it's in the county, thanks God it's not in the city, but that's what happened. Okay. They are not partners with who sold what for. The county is not to take money off the people.
Okay.
So this is all to the numbers. The bottom seal of it, a mobile home, 42 years old, that will always depreciate, will never appreciate. Whatever reference you used before to evaluate for 10 years, 12 years, you can come and say jump it from 12K to 58K. Why? How?
Let me, I understand kind of where you're coming from, and I think we might be able to clarify a couple items in the as well as the county. Let me see if members of the board have questions for you first.
Yes, sir, you're
And,
welcome.
Mr. Ashcraft,
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
Mr. Smith.
This is a rental property, I assume, for you.
I'm sorry?
You don't live there, this is a rental
No, I
property.
rented for $600.
Huh?
I rented for $600.
$600.
So I didn't have any questions.
And,
That's the most I can get there.
I understand. I understand.
And
And your basic concept here is, one, the land value you think's
Excessive.
overvalued, and two, that the trailer.
A trailer,
is-
yes.
is virtually worthless.
Yes, and they are also the same one that priced this lot for about 10,000, give or take a few dollars here or there, again, using my memory, for so many years.
Yeah.
And suddenly went to 52. Why? Compared to what? To 5 acres, to 10 acres, to
Yeah.
4 acres.
I got you. Thank you, sir.
to that
Yep.
point, when you're talking about these other tracts of land that they're comparing it to, I mean, you see the gross value, but you understand the county's making adjustments with
I
the
understand.
red negative numbers to bring it down.
I
comparable to
understand,
yours.
I understand, but it's an adjustment of a person who's playing behind the keyboard.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
reality.
To that point, now, when you purchased the property in 2014, the mobile home was on it.
Yes.
You purchased it for 8,500. Was it a foreclosure or?
It was
Yeah,
actually a
distressed
sale here, a
value.
foreclosure here, for the same reason that's happened. They reassessed it before at our value, and then the mortgage problem happened, and then they can't do it anymore. Then it went again to foreclosure.
Right.
And most is gonna go the same way.
Right. And we'll have the county speak to this too. I mean, you speak of a depreciating asset.
Sure.
And I'm assuming, I'm not absolute on this, that they're treating the mobile home, really, it's being treated as like a stick-built home. It's not being treated, I don't believe, as a depreciating, it's not being treated as personal property, it's being treated as real property.
No worries, and I think I feel where you're going here, but
Yeah.
I'm not sticking to my 8,500 in any way. I'm
Right.
sticking to the previous two appraisals.
Right.
One for 29K for a few years, and one for 300, where is the number? 300 for all the way up to year 2025. So they went through all the ups and downs and everything that can be there, but there is no justification to jump from 35,000 to 110,000, which is 314% on no unique land, no unique property, no historic area, not a house that I can even improve. The only way to fix or improve this trailer is to take it off, get another trailer. Because doing even a window in this trailer will cost more than the trailer. So there is nothing really
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So to clarify, your opinion of value on this property, improvements and land altogether, your opinion of value is?
35 was actually more than a lot, but I was paying $200 taxes in the county. I forget to add, I own another house in the Union County, in the Union City, right off East Franklin Street. And that lot with that mobile home priced almost the same as my unique house, because it's 100-year-old. I can't find any place like it. I can't rebuild there. So if I'm comparing to this to the same taxpayer, which is myself, where's the logic here?
Yeah, understood. Let us hear from the county, and then after they present, we ask questions, and then if you have any rebuttal comments.
Yes, sir.
We'll be glad to let you
I
make them.
appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Do I need to sit? Okay.
Yeah, you can just have a seat at this point, and then I'll call back to you if you'd like to make any final comment.
We'll just go ahead and jump right to the sales analysis. And that is on page
24.
24.
26.
So this was kind of a joint effort. There was one member of the team that did the original evaluation, and then I assisted with going and looking at the property and capturing a photo. That's why we We originally sent out documentation that that we had enough evidence to support the value. And then upon review of the property, so we originally had the condition, and you can see that on, our condition right now is fair. So we originally had it listed as an average condition. So when we adjusted it down to fair condition, in our system, it actually brought the value down to 101,000 from 110,700 originally. We still ran a market analysis on it. That market analysis with the new condition of fair came to 106,300, but we honored the lower value of the 101.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
kind of where we're at.
All right. Let's see if there's any questions from the board. Mr. Smith?
Is there any condition lower than fair, being I've seen the pictures of this property, of the structure?
Yes, we have a poor and a very poor condition. So usually when we get to that very poor, we're talking about structural deficiencies. Fair is really reserved for kind of deferred maintenance to the property. I didn't see anything on my visual inspection, and we didn't receive any evidence that there was structural issues with the home.
So you physically went out there?
I physically went out there. I just did I would call it like a drive-by inspection. You know, I went there. We didn't have a picture of the property, so we needed to capture a picture. And while I was out there, I did see that the condition definitely was not average, you know, even despite it being a 1985 structure.
Mr. Ashcraft?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rose.
You're welcome.
Any final comments you'd like to make?
sir. While he.
Let me make sure I pronounce.
Sir,
your name
if you may
right.
ask, can I ask him?
Ask me, the
Oh,
question
sure.
needs to be asked.
Yeah, because he said he drove by the property and he didn't see anything. I do have the pictures. Actually, after the second time, he told me over the phone that he will go there to see it. So you didn't see the roof damage, you didn't see the damage in the entrance door, you didn't see the damage on the sides of the building, you didn't see any of that. And I told you over the phone, if you want me to get pictures from inside the property, I can. And I do have it with me, but I didn't again feel I need to do that. The other,
No,
I don't mind seeing them.
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
If you
Can I-
hand them to the clerk there and just, I wouldn't mind just looking at it.
There were people from here. Somebody's living this, right? You get $200, $600.
So it doesn't just keep going right, and then we'll be there. From in and, these are pictures from in and out, and my dispute is in two sides, not just one. The valuation of the land and the valuation of the property.
I've never ever seen a phone like this.
This is one of them folding phones.
Nice.
We're going the wrong way, I think.
Yeah, it starts with out. You can zoom in by two fingers, zoom out, it will give you a clear picture because it's 4K. If you go to the front of the house, you see the damage on the door entrance, right above the door entrance to the right, seeing the house, you will see the roof damage. Going from the back, you will see the fascia, the side of the house, is everything. And he said he went by and make sure everything is in fair condition. Now, going inside the house is the same thing, but again, they say we'll do an outside appraisal. We're not in the market of selling homes, but they compare us to the sold properties.
Okay, I got the gist of it.
I got
Yeah,
it. Just,
okay. Yeah, thank you for those pictures.
You are very welcome. But again, they still price on the new valuation, the land at 52,000 plus for 1 acre compared to a 4 or 5 acre. If I have to agree with what they price the other property for, 80,000 for 4 plus acres. So average of $19,000 per acre. Their own comparables.
Okay. I think we're good here. We understand your point. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay?
So do I have to add anything?
You're done there. We'll give the county, any final comments from the county?
Just the only thing, going back to the condition, I would say that, you know, there's somebody living in that home right now. It is being rented out, so there's a standard of a condition that the, home should be in.
Right.
Can I
Understood.
come into this again? I am not disputing at all that it's within the code or anything, but I'm disputing that 42 years trailer that has this condition to be brought to the minimum standard living conditions, so I can get by. Because my only other option, even this is on the call, if the county recorded the call, I even asked it clearly, well, what do I need to do to take this thing all away and get another one? Do I have to apply for new permits and all of this headache and everything? Because that saves me money and headache fixing something. So, well, we have to look at it then. So, okay, I'll see what the committee says.
Okay. We understand. We
Thank you, sir.
understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do I need to stay or I can go?
You're welcome to stay, but we will go into deliberations. We may be here a while before we get back to you, okay?
But will you say something about me
Yeah,
today? I can
you-
stay.
Yeah, we will make a decision today. You can come back up.
Sorry.
We will make a decision today, and we'll be getting into the deliberation phase probably in another 10 or 15 minutes. You're welcome to stay, but it'll probably take a little while, but you are welcome to stay. If you don't stay, you'll be notified by the county of our decision.
Okay, thank you so much. So I don't have to.
You don't have to stay.
Thank you, I
No,
appreciate it.
no.
You'll have a good one.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
I could have gotten to that a little quicker, couldn't I? Okay. All right. All right.
All right,
All
that-
righty.
That
Okay.
brings us to
Yeah.
hearing number 12. It's for property key number 04-114027A. This is for Robert and Linda Henson, and they are not present today.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
And then-
it's a no-show for number, hearing 12.
Okay.
That's correct, they are not present
They
today.
are not present, so, yeah, we'll roll on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I believe I'm going to take a break.
That's fine. We can take a break, maybe take a 5-minute recess and then pick up other business. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Like I said before, now, if you need one before you go, speak up. Yeah. Yeah.
he's doing that.
Addendum number P. I think we might have that.
Yeah, we don't have to. Those are the ones that agree.
Yeah.
Well. Ready? Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. With that, Madam Clerk.
All right, so that takes us to hearing number 13, which is your addendum A that you should have under other business. And this is going to be the settled staff recommendations where the county and the taxpayers have agreed to the values.
Okay, any questions for the board on those?
Let me get a second.
All right, that takes us to the end of the agenda today. So that will take us into deliberations. So we will start back with hearing number 1. This was for property key number 05033188. The taxpayer was Monroe Township Farms LLC, and Jerry and Nicole Emmerich Living Trust, and Mr. Frank Howie Jr. was here and presented today.
And we can we'll have to vote on these individually, but I think 1, 2, and 3
are common.
be common, so we can maybe have discussion about these 3 in general.
That's about the trust, involving the trust or something.
This was for the PUV that was denied?
Yeah.
The PUV?
Yeah.
Because of the trust issue, the
Yeah,
with the
what-
transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way the ownership
Statute.
occurred and the way the ownership is held. I don't know.
My issue, this is state law.
Yeah.
It's state law, but they need to
They
fix
do
this
either.
thing a little bit, to me, but, yeah, I mean,
I just have a hard time going against state law, but at the same time, they could appeal to Raleigh. That's state.
it's just very,
Dealing with
yeah,
state.
yeah, because it's just very technical. to me.
It is very
Yeah.
technical.
Um,
And I feel, I mean, it's being used what it's being used for. That's not the issue.
Right,
It's just a matter of how it
Just-
got there.
just is
Doesn't
what it
meet the
is.
qualifications.
right. So what's the pleasure? Yeah.
Do we feel we have, I think we have the legal ability to override it and give the exemption, but do we want to set that precedent or not? That gives me real heartburn.
Yeah, to my knowledge, we've never
Yeah.
I've never dealt with this before.
Yeah.
I understand it. I understand the taxpayer. I understand the county stance. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand it both ways.
And I understand where the state comes from,
Yeah,
but this is a state law issue.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'd say make the motion.
Okay. And we got to do them individually, so we're just
Yeah.
dealing with hearing 1.
Well, who's gonna make a motion?
Well, I'll make the motion, we uphold the current
Value.
decision of the
Decision.
county based on the statute we're looking at, okay, and the way it reads, that we leave it as is.
All right, I'll second it.
Have a second from Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion?
I think we just don't have much choice.
Right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign, so the motion's carried.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either, but, for the,
Number 2.
property not to be put in the use value program until the ownership
Is fixed.
is fixed.
Or they appeal to
The property
our
tax
authority.
commission at the state level.
and let them deal with it.
So,
Well, I'll make the same motion for hearing 2.
wait a minute.
Oh, Sorry.
Okay, so hearing
She's gotta
number
call
2
it.
is for property key number 05036012. This was also for Monroe Township Farms LLC with Jerry and Nicole Emmerich Living Trust. This was the denial of the present use program.
Okay. So what's the pleasure of the
I'll
board
make a
here?
motion, we uphold the county's decision on this.
Okay, so I have a motion from Mr. Smith,
I'll second
a
it.
second from Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried to uphold the county's current decision.
Hearing number 3 is for property key number 05036014. Taxpayer was Monroe Township Farms LLC, Jerry and Nicole Emmerich Living Trust. This was for the denial of the PUV.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the board here?
Make a motion, we deny the program.
Okay, so I have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft to uphold the county's
County's.
current decision.
I second.
And a second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried to uphold the county's current decision on hearing 3-0503-6014.
Hearing number 4, property key number 05060003. The taxpayer is Northern Ag Holdings, Inc., along with Jerry and Nicole Emmerich Living Trust. This was denial of the PUV program.
And this one was a little different,
It
but
still has the same
same thing.
technical issue.
The only thing, I mean, and I leave the taxpayer, but I mean, I think they would still have to furnish information on Northern Ag Holdings.
They,
you know,
they need to do that,
Yeah.
plus the transfers does not fit.
Right, right.
Make a motion, we uphold the county's decision
I'll second it.
on program denial on hearing 4.
I have a motion from Mr. Smith, a second from Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried to uphold the county's current decision on parcel number 05060003.
Hearing number 5 was for property key number 093360018C. The taxpayer is Myers Brothers LLC, and Mr. Gil Myers was here and presented today.
I didn't have too many notes that swayed my thinking on that one.
Well, I
No,
didn't
I thought
either.
the equity was pretty good, but
The thing is, this got, the zoning changed on it, and I think it affected the property value.
Right.
Is the biggest
Pretty much
part of
it.
Right.
That's it.
Right, right.
that's what it
Because
is.
it's in that mixed-use corridor
Yeah.
zoning.
Yep, I'll make a motion, we accept the county's value.
So I have a motion from Mr.
Second.
Ashcraft, second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the county's current value to stand at $928,500 for parcel 093360118C.
Hearing number 6 was for property key number 07057954. The taxpayer was Jimothy trustee, and she was here and presented today.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the county provided enough comps to agree with current value of $674,800.
Second.
Second, I have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft, second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the county's current value to remain at $674,800, parcel 070579954.
Hearing number 7 was for property key number 07096137. The taxpayer is Bradley and Rebecca Austin, and Mr. Austin was here and presented today.
Now, this is the one, that was 37, that was completely in the flood,
Yep.
and he lost his trees by the neighbor,
And you've got the
but we got
sewer.
to come up with this value. And we-
I just have an issue which the county can't capture, and we got good pictures of it, of that stormwater runoff
Yep.
from the development. Maybe how it impacts one or two of the lots more so than the others. I
Well,
mean,
this is the one that's most impacted,
right.
and it's one that I don't see how in today's world, today's zoning and whatever, they could ever get a permit to build on this
Yeah,
property.
right.
Anybody could get,
Well, you got the house right beside it,
well, that was built
right in
before
the middle of
everything's
the
changed.
pond. I
I
mean,
mean, everything's been changed, rules have been updated considerably
well, that's where I was saying about
since then.
the equity issue involved, if you're going, if you're going to make a change there, then you, what do we do about the other properties?
Well, the others are not as, this one's pretty much fully impacted. The other two have,
That
one's
one-
partial impact and one's virtually none.
Okay, but
But if you look at the one beside it, up above it, it at least has 6/10 of an acre of outside the
I agree.
floodplain building.
I
So
agree
it's
with
got
that.
a building pad, that's outside. This one doesn't. That's where my real problem comes down to. And
I want to ask a question of the county if I could. I mean, what type of influence could be applied, and I'm just hung up on the stormwater runoff. I mean, to me, it just affects the marketability of the property. I mean, it's just,
So,
I'm just calling it like I see it.
yeah,
And if you want to look at,
For 37
to make
and
a motion.
38, maybe not as much for 38,
but 37 is the one that gives me the real heartburn.
but, yeah, same here.
right, it would be, we could put it as flood and put any amount that you want.
Yeah, there
Put
we
it
go.
as flood and give it a
Just
percentage
ramp up
or
the
a dollar
percent.
amount. Yep, we ramp it up.
Well, if you go in that direction, then I guess that's why I asked the question about equity. So, I mean, neighbors right beside them, you know, their cars get flooded and everything. So, do you not, what percent do you do that for them?
Well, you don't have to do anything for them if they didn't appeal.
Right, that's kind of,
That's
to
their
a
problem.
degree. I mean, I
Okay.
see where Mr. Ashcraft's coming from, but it's upon that property owner
To appeal.
to appeal.
Maybe they'll find out.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll find out.
Um,
So the county's typical position is unbuildable is a 25% discount, is that what?
All throughout, right?
No, is there a standard that y'all have? I want to make sure
For unbuildable, we typically don't go, we typically leave 25% of the value of the property.
well, that's what I was thinking.
Right, we don't really go below 25. a quarter.
Right, but it's 25, but not a 25% discount.
If
but
it's
a
totally
total-
unbuildable,
Yeah,
you know, if we know that, we have proof, typically we require.
Do
the,
we know that it's unbuildable?
We don't, I do
No,
not know
I'm
that.
asking.
well, I guess the question is, I don't know of any town here, this is in Wesley Chapel, correct?
So it's not Weddington, right?
It's not, but this is Wesley Chapel, I believe.
That's correct.
Now, I don't know their rules like I know Weddington rules, but if there's not significant portion of this property outside the floodplain, they'll never get a permit to build on the property.
For us to typically.
And there's really none, this is all in the floodplain.
For us to typically.
I mean, it's down to a fraction.
Wait, what do you say, Mr. Helms?
For us to typically put the influence of unbuildable on a property like that, in this situation, would require the homeowner to bring paperwork from the city, stating that they can't build on it.
See, I would
That's how it's
be,
done.
yeah, I think,
Okay.
this is my opinion, we just ratchet up the flood percentage on it. It just
Get there the same way.
get there the same way, not get into the unbuildable area.
And
I
then
mean,
tell
technically, I
him,
think
tell
one-
him if he wants to do something different, bring it from the town,
Yeah.
which would be proper. All you gotta do is go to the planning department and say, I got this, to show them the map, and they'll say,
Because I don't know.
denied.
I
Well, I don't know
know if the town knows.
Yeah,
So if we get approved, we don't have a problem with it.
that's it. And that'd be good for him to do anyway.
Exactly.
All right, so what's your pleasure?
Either take it from 20, he's currently got 25% for flood. On 30, and we're dealing with just 37, so that's the whole
Just
parcel.
37.
I mean, I'd take it up to at least 50, but I don't know if we're gonna take it up to more than that.
Okay. Make a motion, we take the flood up 50%.
You good with that?
I'm okay with that, but I would also tell the taxpayer that if they go to the town and get it deemed unbuildable, they could bring that back to you.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
And make that change without y'all having to vote on
Yeah,
That would be good.
it. Okay.
yeah.
That's the
So-
motion.
So the motion is to increase the flood from 25 to 50%, and that if the property owner brings sufficient documentation to prove that it's unbuildable, that the county can make that change to further reduce.
To whatever they go to for unbuildable.
Yeah.
All right,
And to me, you would take the flood off, does all the flood go off and then it's just applied as unbuildable?
That's correct.
Right, okay. So with that being said, what's the pleasure? So I have the
Second.
motion
He motioned it, I seconded.
and second. Any discussion, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
Question?
Oh,
Can you get a timeline as far as when to require the citizen to supply that?
Well,
I
I mean,
think
I don't know the hoops he's gonna have to jump through, but would
60
90,
days?
60 to 90 days be sufficient?
give him 9 days.
Give him 90
Okay.
days. Okay.
That works.
It just don't need to go in too late.
To infinity.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you can't go but so far.
Okay.
So 90 days.
So 90 days time frame to be given for him to produce the documentation for unbuildable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried as presented for hearing 07096137.
All right, that takes us to hearing number 8. This was for property key number 07096138. The property owners are Bradley and Rebecca Austin, and Mr. Austin was here and presented today.
This is
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a problem with this one. He can build his house on it. I make a motion to accept the county's current value of 85.7.
I'll second it for discussion purposes. The only issue I have is access because of flooded road. Is that really comparable? I'm just gonna bring that for discussion, not saying
Okay.
one way or the other.
So I have a motion from Mr.
I'll second it.
Ashcraft and a second. Now discussion.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
discussing. I have access issue with road flooding or whatnot.
So-
Should there be some consideration for that?
We didn't do it from number 37, so I don't think that's an issue as much.
Well, 37 got whacked hard.
I don't even understand that. I mean, what about those other lots? On the right
Yeah,
side,
true.
he sold
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I understand.
They didn't argue it. Person, I mean, it happens once in 100
Yeah.
years or something. Whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
3 years ago, 2
that's-
years ago.
That's probably a good point, though. I mean,
That's my only
well,
issue.
and that was kind of where I was going with 39.
Yeah. It's
Not-
it's going to with all of them.
But yeah, but you got a good point. If the other ones don't have it,
I know.
Yeah,
I don't know that we got there.
yeah. It's an
It's my
inconvenience.
opinion.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
There is a buildable piece on this.
Yeah.
And there's sewer there, so it doesn't have to be an acre. It can be less.
Yeah.
It's got a reasonable amount outside the
Good point on the
floodplain.
sewer, yeah.
It's got sewer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft,
For
a
me.
second from Mr. Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the current value to remain on hearing 8, 07096138 at 85.7.
Yep.
Hearing number 9 was for property key number 07096139. This was for taxpayers Bradley and Rebecca Austin, and Mr. Austin was here and presented today.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the county's current value of 85,200 on this one.
Yeah. I'll second it.
So motion for Mr. Ashcraft, second for Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the current value to remain at 85.2 on parcel 07096139.
Hearing number 10 was for property key number 07096140, and the property owner is Bradley and Rebecca Austin, and Mr. Austin was here and presented today.
I gotta get, this is, we're on 10 now, right?
Yeah, that's
We're on the
his
house.
That's where his house is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the current value they have on it is 508,600.
Yeah.
That one that is a houseboat in the middle of that pond that they have pictures of,
Yeah.
that was 558, so.
Okay.
different size house, but still, that's,
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of lakefront.
this went from notice value of 368 up because they went and saw
He
that it's
didn't have a
improved.
problem with it.
Yeah, and he had no problem with it.
I'll make-
508, I think is
Make a
fine.
motion to accept.
So I have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft, second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the value of 508,600 to remain on parcel 07096140.
All right, hearing number 11 was for property key number 108003C. And Sam was here as the taxpayer and presented today.
I just think on this one, he was hung up, it was personal, treatment as personal property versus real property.
I know.
And I'm right there with Mr.
If he's
Ashcraft.
renting it out for 600, it's,
Yeah.
it's good. I don't have a problem with
And
101.
the pictures on the inside,
Yeah,
okay, they look okay.
There's land value here, there is value to the structure, even though it's in poor shape. I guess, you know, whether he takes care of it, his rental property better, not his problem.
Right.
So what's the pleasure of the
I
board?
make a motion to accept the
I'll
county's
second.
value of 101.
So I have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft, second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the current value to remain at $101,000 for parcel 031080003C.
All right, and the last hearing was hearing number 12. This was for property key number 04114027A. This was for Robert and Linda Henson, and they were not present today.
What's
I'll
the
make,
pleasure of the
I'll
board?
make the motion to accept the county's current value of $61,100.
We have a motion from Mr. Smith.
Second.
Second from Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the current value to remain at $61,100 for parcel 04114027027A.
We've already done the other. Right.
Yep. And then we've taken care of 13 and 14.
We have, so I just need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay?
When is our next meeting?
Oh, man, cool.
I'm coming on the 6th.
You're coming on the 6th.
You're not gonna get a check?
I'm going to practice.
We'll get an officer ready.
Okay,